And today on Tech, now we have a very interesting discussion up ahead. As technology is constantly evolving, we will be discussing technology as a tool for the advancement of society. And with us, Tomi solanke. He's a technology entrepreneur with vast experience working in Africa's largest economic markets. You are welcome. So it's obvious, today we can't do without technology, whether we like it or not. Even the lady inside of the kitchen who's preparing a very good, sumptuous meal needs technology to be able to, get this all together. But what is the biggest factor when it comes to using technology as a tool to advance our economy, especially as Africans or Nigerians?
Okay, so when you say biggest factor, what exactly, like, what do you...
well, when I say
how are you thinking about it?
I'm asking what exactly, when it comes to technology, is the... Well, when I say biggest factor, I'm talking about the elements that makes it the biggest tool.
Oh, okay.
Get it now?
Yeah,
Right,
that makes sense. Okay, so I think like one of the things that technology does that, or enables us to do that other mediums, cannot really do, I think, first of all, is the reach, right?
Okay.
With things like, the cell phone, like, prior to now, right, decades before, centuries before, people could not communicate in such an effective manner, in such a, quick manner. Like right now, with the advent of like the internet and all the things that were layered on top of the internet, people can pretty much, you can, say hello, hi, have conversations with people, and, within, a couple of seconds at most, somebody, millions of thousands of kilometers away from you can listen to what you're saying, whether it's audio content, whether it's video content. So that kind of scale, that kind of distribution at that kind of speed, prior to now never existed.
Now, so when I hear technology, for me, it's kind of like different from when someone in the Gen Z category perhaps hears technology. I don't know if you agree with me. I might be wrong, and I don't mean to offend any Gen Z out there. But when I think they hear technology, I think they hear more communication or more, what do you call it now, social media. Is it okay to categorize that as technology and as a tool? Well, it is. But from an expert, would I be wrong to say so?
Yeah, so I think it's a function of use cases, right? What are the most prevalent, use cases? What do people use the most, right? The mobile phone is the most popular,
readily available.
Yeah, like it's the most popular piece of technology that's utilized by a majority of people. People these days have two mobile phones, 3 mobile phones. So I think like it's more of a thing of scale and a more of, I wouldn't say utility per se, but the thing that more people use the most. I think that's why people like pigeonhole like technology into like and try to tie it back to mobile phones, social media, and all the things that we think it is today. But there are lots more use cases. There's a lot more utility around technology and how it's helping solve a lot of problems today.
So now to piggyback on that question, would it be safe to say that in a couple of years you may not need a degree, but you will need all the technology you can get to be able to make a living? I say that because you can go on Google and actually get jobs that you can work with remotely that require pretty much zero to no skill. Am I correct when I say that technology is actually doing that to make a level playing field for everybody, whether you're highly educated or you're not? Is this true, or do you see this affecting our economy in any way, especially here in Nigeria, where people are like, what can I use my free time to do, or what can I even do as a means of occupation?
So I think on the economy side, there are lots of benefits for any country, any continent, when they embrace technology and when they continue to like foster innovation and those sorts of things. But from the other perspective of people,
level playing field for
people, like what the job market looks like today, and learning, education. I think all of that has changed, right? There are tools like Coursera, there are tools, there are tools like Udemy. There are lots of things these days. There's LinkedIn Learning, even YouTube, right? You can pretty much like I have conversations with a lot of my friends. I say like there are lots of careers that will be phased out, or lots of like jobs that will be phased out over time, and there are lots of things that I don't feel like you need to go to universities for. That you can pretty much, watch a YouTube video
And
over a 6-month period, 1-year period, and you get as much knowledge, if not more, because like that is constantly refreshed. There are lots of tutors, there are lots of people with different perspectives, varying perspectives, and watching all of that stuff gives you a bigger, wider, perspective on a lot of things. So I think like over time, people would learn a lot of things outside of, the traditional educational system. And we're seeing that happen, today, quite a lot today.
So is Nigeria that kind of climb where these things can easily happen? I mean, yeah, you can watch a YouTube video, but does Nigeria allow you to utilize that skill that you've learned? Do people trust you enough to say, no, this guy learned it from school, but this guy learned it from YouTube? Do we have that environment yet?
Yeah, so like I said, like the taste of the pudding is in the eating, right? And there are lots of things that do not require me displaying a physical certificate. So there are things like, for example, if I want to be a medical doctor, right, you need to go to school.
Yeah, of course.
To be a medical doctor. If you want to work as an engineer or certain types of engineers, you need to go to school. But there are certain skill sets that do not require tendering like a certificate to prove proficiency or competency in any way, right? And you see a lot more people get given chances or get chances, to show themselves or to display the level of competency that they have. And I think like over time, as that continues, that build-up continues, that confidence continues to boost or to grow, I think even other sectors will begin to join to that. Unless it's a very critical skill that requires
a certificate or some sort of what's the word now? I can't find the word, but I get you when you use the doctor instance. So that kind of like sums it up. Well, I do hope that sometime we actually get there, where like in advanced countries, you really are judged based on your output rather than what you've learned like 20 years ago that might be outdated as of now. But it's good to see that Africa will get there eventually. I'm hoping, and if you had an advice for the young people who have these kinds of passions or aspirations, what would it be regarding the skills that they learn from these YouTube and the rest and all of that? What would be your advice for them?
Yeah, I think like the world is your oyster, right? Learn as much as you can. There's nothing like lost knowledge, right? You might think something is not impactful today and it would be impactful or useful like sometime in the distant future. So just learn as much as you can, consume information, interact with people, and just continue to build yourself as a
build a network
human being.
Well, thank you very much. It's grand to have you. Just do stay a bit because we have a